Good day, everyone. I'm going to show you how to complete part 2 of the database exam. In part 2, you'll be required to create reports and queries from the hospital database that you created in part 1. So, in order to begin this part of the exam, the first thing we'll have to do is to go to open up the Access database you created in part 1. So, let's go to Start, and let's go to Access. And you know what? Instead, I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to go to Windows Explorer. It's easier for me here. Okay, and I'm going to go to the desktop where I saved it. And I saved it in a file folder called Access Exam. You saved it wherever you saved it. I don't know, but you need to go there and open it up. Okay, so and it was called the St. James Hospital Database Exam. So I'm going to open up the Access database that we created in part 1. Now, when you open it up, you're likely to get this error message at the top where it says security warning, some features have been disabled. If you want to enable contact, click enable contact. So that's what we want to do, enable content. So just click on that box there, and now you're all set. And you might remember we had a doctor's information table, which is all the information about all the doctors, and a patient information table, information about all the patients. Now, the reason for taking that spreadsheet and converting it into a database is that we can do way more with a database than we can with a simple spreadsheet. And I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing we want to do is we're going to create some reports. And the first report is, this is a hospital, and in the emergency room every day there are different doctors on call for their emergency specialties. So we're going to create a report for today as to what doctors are on call. Now here's what we'll do, and this is a doctor information table question because we're doing a report about the doctors. So we'll go up to the word create, and we'll come over to create a excuse me, a report wizard. And we'll go to report wizard. That's the easiest way to do that. And what we want to do is, it says what table is involved. Well, it's either involving the doctor or the patient, but in this case it is the doctor table, so we're going to stick with the doctor information table. Now in this report we want to have the doctor's first name, so I'm going to move it over, first name, last name, and what unit he's assigned to, and his phone number, so we can call him if we need him, and his specialty area. Okay, we don't need all of the information, just some of it. Okay, so that's all the information we need, so we'll click the button that says next. Now it says, do you want to add any groupings? No, we'll just skip that and click next. And then it says, do you want to put it in any kind of order? We'll click yes, because we want to put it in alphabetical order by the doctor's last name so we can find them quickly on the list. Now we'll click the button that says next. And it says, do you want this type of form as shown? Yeah, we'll accept that. And portrait is the standard form that we're going to use, like this. Click the button that says next. And it says, what do you want to call this report? Now, right now, it's just the default is doctor information table, but that's not it. This is going to be named the emergency room doctor call list, and we'll click finish, and as soon as it finishes here, takes a second. Emergency room call list is not a valid name. Okay, you know why? I think it's because I put a period in there. It's very particular. Access is very, very particular. So I'll get rid of that dot, and now I'll click finish, and I'll bet that's the problem. There we go. And there's the emergency room call list. And notice it appears under the reports. Now, if you just created it and it doesn't show up under reports, it might be that you didn't click on the all access objects and make sure in part 1 that you had object type showing as a check mark and all access object showing. So do that if you need to. Okay, that aside, now there's your first report. It's just as easy as that. You can't do that with an Excel database, with an Excel spreadsheet. So that's a great way to create a report. Now let's do another report. This one, when nurses arrive, let me get back to the patient information table here now for a minute. Okay, now when the nurses arrive at their station in the morning, we want to give them their morning medication list for their patients. And they need to know the patient's name, what their social security number is, so that nobody gets mixed up. We're going to go by social security number, because they can have the same name, but different social security numbers. And the social security number is how we keep them from getting mixed up. That's why we call that our key field. And what room number they're in, what medication they're taking, and what nurse is assigned. And I'm going to show you your report that you do for your exam will be just like this one. Okay, so now we're dealing with patients, so we make sure that the patient information table is open, and it is. Let's go under Create, and let's go to Report. We'll use the Report Wizard. It's the easiest way to do it. Now, and again, make sure you're showing it's the patient information table that you want, and that it is that. Now, what we want is the patient's name. Remember, this is the patient stuff. So it's the patient's first name, patient's last name. We want to know their social security number, so we're sure it's the right patient. And we want to know what medication they're to be taken. And we'll put that over there. And we want to know the nurse that's assigned. We'll click and put that over there. All right. So, and I'll tell you when you do the exam what information you need in your report. Click Next now. And it says, do you want any groupings by level? I'm going to click Group It by the nurse assigned. Okay, you'll see how the report looks in a minute. I'm going to group it by the nurse that's assigned. Then we'll click Next, and it says, what kind of order do you want? Well, I'm going to put it in alphabetical order by nurse assigned, so that we can give them their reports very quickly in the morning. And then I'll click the button that says Next. And is this format? Yep. Portrait? Yep. Okay, so just click Next. And it says, what do you want to call this report? I'm going to call this, I'll call it Tuesday morning medication report. Okay, and click Finish, and let's see how this report looks. There it is. We have Nurse Carson has one patient there. Nurse Nelson, let me make that bigger again. I don't know how we'll get that down to. There we go. Okay, and Nurse Nelson has 1, 2, 3. She has 3 patients, and there's the medication they need. Nurse Wilson has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patients, and those are the patients' names and the information about them. So that's how you do the morning medication report. Okay, now let's close out of these. It's getting kind of cluttered with a lot of these tabs open across the top. So let's close out that. And close out this. Just close them till they're all closed out, because you get too much stuff open, it gets confusing. All right, another report I want is this. Whoa, we just got an emergency call from the administration office that it appears, let me go to the patient table, it appears that we got a shipment of aspirin that was mislabeled, and medication was given to patients that wasn't really aspirin, and it could kill them. We need to take care of this immediately. So we're going to do a immediate query of the database to find out what patients were given aspirin as medication. So let's do this. We're going to do this time we're going to do a query. So we're going to go up to Create, and we're going to over where it says create a query in Design View. Trust me, it's easier to do it in Design View. So click Query, Design View. And it asks you what table do you want to query. Well, no, we don't want the doctor information, we want the patient information. So click on that and click Add it to up above, and here it is. Now at this point we have to close out this box here. We have to close it out, so close it. Now this isn't showing all the field names, so we're going to go to the corner and click and drag it down so we can see all the field names. Now we want to search this database and find out the information about the patients, but only for those who were taking aspirin. Those are the ones we want to reach immediately. And in this query, we want to know the patient's first name, last name, social security number, and what room number they're in, and what medication they were given, and what nurse was assigned. Okay, make sure I've got them all. Let's see, I should have patient's first name. Whoops, for some reason last name didn't show up. Okay, I'll click and put it here now. And social security number showed up, room number showed up, and medication. I don't see that. Sometimes if you don't click properly, it misses it. So I'm going to click medication. Medication. Yeah, medication. For some reason it didn't show up when I first clicked it, so watch for that. And nurse assigned. So we have all the information that we're looking for. Now, what we want is this. We want to go to the line that says criteria. We're searching the database for a certain criteria to be met. We want, under medication, we want only the patients that were given aspirin. So we'll type aspirin. Type equals. Yeah, put equal sign, equals aspirin. Okay, so we have to search the medication. If the medication equals aspirin, that's what I'm searching for, only that. Now, you got to be very careful. If you misspell aspirin, it will not find it. So you got to be careful that you're searching properly. Okay, now let's run this query. To run the query, you come to the upper left-hand corner, and there's a red exclamation point, and we'll click on that and run the query. And there it is. We have 3 patients who were taking aspirin who we need to reach immediately. And we know, I'm going to widen this up a bit so you can see all the information. You always want to make sure in all your reports that the fields are wide enough so you can read all the information. And I'll widen these up a little bit, and but you get the idea. And like that, and with medication. There we are. So we know the patient's first name, last name, what medication they were taking, which was aspirin, and what nurse was assigned, and what room number they're in. And so now, so we completed the query. So let's close the query, and when you close it, it makes you save it. And I'll click close. It says, do you want to save it? Yes. Click yes. And what do you want to save the query as? I'm going to call this emergency aspirin callback. All right, and I'll click the OK button, and you'll notice now it appears as a query on the right. Now, the query it shows information, but it's not a report. We want this to be a report. So all we have to do is let's click on the emergency call, the query, the name of the query, and now let's go to Create. And let's go to Report Wizard and tell it we want all of the information that's there. I could do it one at a time like that, or I could click the double arrow, move everything over at once. Okay, that's the information that we want. We click Next, and Next, and we can put in an alphabetical order by the nurse that's assigned. Click Next, and the form is okay. Click Next. And with title for our report, and this is the report. We're going to call this the emergency notification aspirin list for the nurses. Okay, and click Finish. And there we go. There's the emergency aspirin list. Your nurses come in the morning. Hey, take this right away. Go out and locate those patients and take care of them. Okay, so that's all there is to doing reports and queries on the exam. I will have probably 1 or 2 additional reports for you to make, and it's done just exactly the same way. So you shouldn't have trouble with that. If you do, go back and review this video. Okay, so good luck everyone, and when you're done, you will submit for your Access exam just this one single database, because everything you've done on the exam I will see as tables or queries or reports, and I can open them and grade them from there. So the Access exam involves only turning in this one completed document. And when you're done, just close it, close out of everything. And when it's all closed out, just again, remember, when you close it, it automatically saves it. So when you send in your exam, just send in the St. James Hospital database that you created. Okay, good luck, everyone. Thank you.